What is good, everybody? It is Coach Blossom C. Brown here, and I hope you all are having an amazing Saturday because I know I feel good, and I hope y'all do too. So I just felt so called to come on here and have a conversation with some of y'all about endurance, okay? I'm getting a sense that a lot of you are struggling with endurance right now. You are struggling not to give up. You are struggling to throw in the towel. And I need to have a conversation with some of y'all. I'm just saying. So, y'all, I really just felt called to do this video because endurance is something that a lot of us do struggle with and a lot of us do have a hard time with. But we have to begin to look at what the definition of endurance is for us. Now, I'm going to give y'all the textbook definition of what I got, but here it goes. So endurance is basically the fact or power of going through an unpleasant or difficult process or situation without giving way, or in other words, without giving up. Okay, so basically it's about going through the trials. It's about going through the tribulations without giving up, without throwing in the towel. But one of the most important things about endurance that we all must remember is that it always starts with you. Hey, my love, happy Saturday. Endurance always starts with you. It's like the number one in numerology, which talks about yourself, your individual self, which talks about new creation, which talks about new beginnings, okay? New ideas, new foundations to be made, all right? Endurance starts with you. Some of us have let me back it up a little bit. We all have their free will of choice, okay? When we get knocked down, we can choose to stay down or we can choose to get back up. For those of us that have the tendency to stay down, it's time for us to begin to ask ourselves these questions. Why do I feel like I need to throw in the towel? Okay? Why do I feel like I need to give up? What is going on inside of me internally that thinks that I can't achieve, that thinks that I can't succeed? What the hell is really going on with inside of myself? Number one, a lot of it is, of course, trauma. Because of another experience that you may have experienced in your past where the situation didn't go the way that you wanted it to go and you decided to give up. And then when another opportunity presents itself again, that was just like the first time that you had, you get scared. You are afraid. All of a sudden, you let this panic come in. You let this fear come in and psych you out again of another opportunity. A lot of that is trauma, but then a lot of that is lack of self-esteem. A lot of us do not believe enough in ourselves. We'll go for something all day long, but we don't believe that we have the confidence within ourselves to move forward and cross the finish line. We've developed that sense of self. And let me tell you something, it is a very, very dangerous thing because guess what, y'all? That is not going to carry you through life. It is not going to help you move from point A to point B to point Z. It's not going to move you anywhere. So we need to be very consciously aware of what's happening with us internally. Is there any trauma going on in there? Why do you feel that you need to give up? Just because something is difficult? Just because you got knocked down or something? Did you ever think that the reason why you got knocked down was maybe because, number one, you may not be ready. Number two, because there was a lesson in the blessing. Sometimes knockdowns can be a blessing because there's something that you needed to learn about it. How are you, love? Happy Saturday. You need to begin to look at downfalls and look at mistakes as wisdom and knowledge that needs to be learned. I don't care where you come from. I don't care what walk of life you come from, whether you're trans, whether you're cis, it doesn't matter. It all works the same unique way. We need to begin to reach within inside of ourselves internally and figure out why we have this low vibrational energy within inside of ourselves that keeps us from wanting to succeed, that makes us want to give up. And while we have the tendency to look around at other people who are doing some of the same work that we are, and compare our experiences to theirs, mismatch, just trying to figure out what's going on, and then we throw in the towel, and then we catch these attitudes Some of us have the wrong attitude about life. We have the wrong attitude about how we need to succeed. I've been there. I'm not perfect either. Trust and believe that. Trust and believe that. But really, have y'all begin to ask yourself, what does endurance look like for you? Okay, what is the textbook definition in your eyes? What is your own personal definition? How do you get up from situations that have put you down? Some of us are dealing with money issues right now. Maybe an investment went wrong, or maybe you thought you were going to get some money and it didn't happen the way that you wanted it to happen. Maybe there's some kind of a delay or whatnot. Okay. How do you move on from there with a good attitude, with even more drive and even more motivation and determination? How do you do that? Honestly, we have to begin to look deeper in a more subconscious way. We need to begin to open up our chakras. We need to begin to open up more of our intuition. Okay, a lot of us have been misled from our intuition. Okay, it doesn't matter whether you're religious, spiritual, whatever the case may be. Everybody has an intuition. We ain't tried it. That must was spirit. I don't know. Everybody has an intuition. Everybody has intuition. I don't care what field you are in. Okay, I don't care if you are masculine presenting or feminine presenting, or either or neither. It doesn't matter. Everybody has their intuition. Everybody is guided in this life. Everyone is. What is inspiration for you to keep going? Begin to ask yourself, what is your drive? Is it your kids? Is it your partner? Is it you wanting to make humanity and society better? Thank you so much, love. Thank you. We have to begin to practice more endurance now. We need to begin to implement more endurance into our lives, our everyday lives. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're on the radio. I don't care if you work in a grocery store. I don't care if you're trying to work, do your own business. You have to begin to make those changes now. Some of us need to close our eyes and tap into our intuition, tap into our subconscious, and figure out what is the blueprint. What's the game plan at this point? Do you want to win? Do you really, really want to win? Do you want to win in life? Because even winners have a hard time. Even winners have to go through obstacles and challenges. Like, that's the whole duality of life. You have to have obstacles and challenges. Nothing can be cookie cut short. Like, you can't just go from point A to point B without any obstacles or challenges. But it's all about how you show up for those obstacles or challenges that makes a difference. And a lot of that, again, starts with the internal work of yourself. The internal work of your confidence, your self-esteem. And again, all those get affected by your past traumas, by things you went through in the past, by how somebody has treated you. All of that comes back full circle. And it becomes even more karmic when you don't heal it, when you don't acknowledge it. Some of you have let this build into your ego. Your ego takes over a lot of your decision making. And some of you don't have the best of egos. Let's be very clear about that. And that's just 100% keeping it real. And we all get like that. Me too. I'm not an exception to that. But one thing, and I'm just going to talk about me for a second, but one thing I've learned is it starts with me. It starts with going deep within inside of myself and looking at old unhealed wounds and begin to put the medicine on the wounds, because those wounds have already become other parts of those other wounds have already become an infection to other parts of my life. And so how do I get that under control? It's called doing the internal work. Discovering and confronting what I needed to confront to make sure that I show up better in the world. I always say there's liberation in spirituality, okay? Classism, racism, sexism, narcissism, all of these isms that are in the world have been here since the day of the beginning, I guess I should say. They've been here since the beginning. We were born into these structural things, okay? We were born into it. Again, it's all about how we show up to fight those things, to fight injustices, to fight racism. It's about how we it's about how we show up. And the way we show up starts with internal work, not nobody else. See, we want to victim blame and we want to put the blame on Sally and Jesse and everybody else, but we don't want to put it on ourselves. We don't want to do that. We don't want to acknowledge because we let our egos get in the way. And somehow, some way, it has impacted our endurance to keep going. Some of us come from some of the most marginalized communities, and we're always in survival mode, always. And so endurance is something that is a little bit more innate in us because we understand that a lot of these systems are not for us. We understand that we have to fight harder than some of these other groups of people just to be able to have basic access, basic resources, basic rights. Let me be very clear. Endurance goes across the board, completely across the board. So don't ever get it twisted. Whether you have privilege or not, it goes across the board. And we need to begin to ask ourselves, why are some of us ready to throw in the towel so soon? Do you think it's because it's not worth it? Well, here's the thing. Some part of you at one point or another thought it was worth. You thought it was some type of worth. You thought it was worthy. So what changed? What type of energy shifted that all of a sudden now you have a different mindset about it? Here's the thing. Some of us will go into certain things, and if something doesn't work within a particular time frame, we let fear come in and psych us out of it. Psych us out completely. Like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore because I feel like it's a failure. Well, here's the thing, my love, because I think I struggle mainly with this. There is a difference between fear and impatience. Okay? A lot of us are dealing with impatience because we look around, we see how one thing worked for somebody and expect it to work for us, knowing that we are two completely different people, two completely different human beings, but this is where our mindset goes to. That's part of a scarcity mindset. Family is a part of a scarcity mindset that we need to begin to dismantle. There is room for everybody. There's room for everybody to succeed. But because these systems that are put in place constructively are trying to psych us out and say that there's only limited resources, that there's only limited opportunities, that there's only limited chances. This is where we let them come in and try to fool us. And this is where we have to stop. Because again, when you are tapped into your endurance, when you know that when something doesn't work out the first time around, you have enough willpower to try again. Because guess what? What's meant for you is meant for you, but it's all about the perfect timing. Sometimes the universe has to show up and show you that you just need a little bit more work. The universe is not going to say this ain't for you, per se. We develop that mindset that thinks that it's not for us. If you know in your heart, if you know in your soul that something is for you, it's for you. Because your intuition told you. Your intuition guided you and told you that this is what you need to be doing. This is part of your purpose. This is what you are called to do. This is what you're called to serve. So let's go ahead and do it. But again, some of us have influences around us. Some of us have all of these other things going on, and we like to get steered away from the goal. We like to get steered away from the situation at hand. We have to tap more into our power. Everybody has potentiality. It's about seeing the full base of your potentiality. When you begin to see the full base of your potentiality, what you can do, what you know you can do, that's when the endurance within inside of your soul goes up. I won't give up until I get it. I have to keep going. I have to trust the process. I have to trust the universe. I have to do what needs to be done. We have to get there collectively on this mission. But again, Everyone has the free will of choice. It is up to you. You can choose to listen to what I say and you can choose not to. But I guarantee you, the ones that choose not to will be right back around at this video sometime soon. Because the universe is very karmic. I'm just saying. No tea, no shade. I'm just completely saying. The universe is very karmic. And some of y'all are very karmic. You believe in karmic power. Some of y'all are going through that right now. You're making self-discoveries about yourself. You're making self-discoveries about what you don't like. You're making more self-discoveries about who you don't like. Some of y'all are moving through that shift where you're losing friends. But it's only to make room for more people to come into your life that can help you, that can support you. Some of you have actually given up on relationships. You've given up on friendships. Why? Life is a journey. The door is going to evolve. It's going to revolve. People are going to come in and they're going to come out. But you got to stay with it. You got to keep your head in the game. That's the gag. That's the tea about it all. You have to keep your head in the game. Are you ready to do it though? Can you actually look within inside of yourself and raise your energy and raise your vibration to move towards positive light, to move more towards your abundance, to move towards wealth? And I'm not necessarily just talking about money. Wealth can be just happiness. Wealth can be just joy. Wealth doesn't necessarily have to be something tangible that you can hold in your hand. See, a lot of us have to open our mindset. We have to open up our crown chakra and understand that there's more in life than just the tangible things of money, a big fancy house, a nice fancy car. Spiritual wealth is another important thing. And in order to get spiritual wealth, you have to tap into your endurance. You have to tap into your courage. You have to tap into your self-esteem. You have to tap into your strength. Strength is a big one for some of y'all. Some of you are Leos on here. Some of you are Leos on here. Leos. Leos are some of the most courageous people in the zodiac. Leo the lion. Lions can defend anything and can withhold. Let me make sure I say that right. Leos can withstand anything is what I'm trying to say. Not withhold, pardon me. But are you ready? Are you really ready? It's really time to begin to look at where you are with your level of endurance. If you're working on a project, it's a Leo rising in here. I knew it was a Leo up in here. You have to work on your endurance. Because in 2021, when I tell you, there's going to be so much happening. Okay, some of you are definitely going to be motivated into getting into your own line of work where you don't have to work for somebody else. You just want to work for yourself. You want to be able to build for yourself. You want to build a life for your kids, for your family, something that you can leave a legacy for. Some of you are moving more towards that in 2021. But you got to understand something. You're going to have ups. You're going to have downs. But you have to continue to be driven. You don't need to look to your left and look to your right while you're trying to drive down that road to focus on what you need to focus on. Because when you're too busy looking to the left and when you're too busy looking to the right, your eyes are not on the road and you're going to have a whole accident worried about what somebody else doing. Somebody else that may be in the same line of work doing as you. And I just want to just kind of put this on y'all's mind and on your spirit today. Really think about your endurance this weekend as you get ready to head into a new week ahead. It's time to begin to look at little stuff like this and really begin to focus on the inner work. Focus on healing any trauma that is preventing your endurance from actually reaching its full potential. You are the driver. Period. It is up to you to make sure that the vehicle that you are driving has its maintenance, has gas in it, has its oil changed, everything. Because that car that you're driving is going to fuel your potentiality. It's going to fuel your endurance. Some of y'all got to get with it. I know I do too. But some of us got to really, really get with it. And so I just wanted to come on here and deliver that message to those of you that really need to hear this. Because, again, it all starts with you. You are the one deciding factor. You are the one common denominator. It's always you. For each problem that you've had, for each problem that you have had with people in your life, you have always been the number one common denominator. Whether that was a problem with your mama, with your daddy, with your cousin, with your boyfriend, with your girlfriend, you were the one common denominator. You came through all those times. You were the one repeating factor in those situations. We can put blame on any and everybody else, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, you still played a part. You still played a part. It's about taking responsibility for accountability. And this is where we need to get to. So y'all really think about tapping into that endurance. If you need work on your endurance, if you need work on it, put some time, put some energy, put some discipline into doing that work. It is a part of the inner work. Let me tell you one thing. It doesn't matter about time. It doesn't matter about time. Take your time. Because when you slow down, you'll discover even more things you need to work on. You'll discover even more things you want to improve. Because we all want to show up as better in the world. We all want to show up better in the world. We all do. We want to show up better in humanity. We do. But how do we do that? It starts with us. Our inner selves. So I'm going to get off of here, y'all. I just wanted to make sure I delivered that message to those of you that needed to hear this, that needed to see this. And I'm super humble that you all took the time to listen. I will holler at y'all soon. Happy Saturday.